One big firestorm coming, and there was a big fire at Biston and a big RAF air base. We're not far from Tackleston Mask here. Wyndham. That's always been a bit of an omen for me. And I say there's plenty of hosts drive Monster 18-wheeler 666 dual trucks. No Black Panther, serial killer here, Africa, Dis, Norwich and Sandringham. 3 attempts to run me off the road and also narrowly missed escape, one big high-speed ram. But when I come out of Africa in the past, genocide on the horizon, mass graves, you could have put the population of Dis into, people hiding in mass graves to avoid being massacred, people dance with fiendish delight in their victims' blood, Rwanda, genocide, over 1 million people slaughtered in 100 days. Jaffa and his Yardie gang threatening to burn my mother alive in her car. Next time they saw her, Kisumu, Kenya. And Lake Victoria is the size of England. Again on the other side of Lake Victoria, genocide. And the slaughter was relentless. God confirmed I was to go and to go urgently. Not one single penny from anybody. No sex and donations. Oxfam, sex scandal here. Big black cornerstone that came out of Africa, 7 monster lies, 7 bogus diagnoses are built on. And when I come out of Africa, everyone was in the centre of this to welcome back this town football club. Had won the Vast Cup at Wembley the day before, and I was over at the Stag at Thetford with some friends, not far from RAF Mildenhall and Lakenheath, big US air bases. It was a nice afternoon, people were having picnics. We were walking through the forest. I was still thinking about all the people fleeing for their lives through the forests of Rwanda, and they had trapped, estimate, 125,000 people, and the militia and the soldiers were closing in for the slaughter. And all of a sudden there was a blinding flashing light, no warning. And then now I've travelled the world, in the 7 seas, and I've seen some very big storms, been in some very big storms. But I've never heard such an almighty bang that shook the place. And then it sounded like the heavens were tearing apart. And just for a moment you could have thought that Mildenhall and Lakenheath had been hit with a missile. And this big electrical storm raged across East Anglia. And there were pictures of all the lightning off Yarmouth, which is in the east towards Russia, NATO, Ukraine. And the game of this winning the Vast Cup at Wembley had been televised and was also being shown on the Sunday afternoon. And just as this was going to kick off, Tackleston Mask was struck by lightning, and all the televisions in Africa blacked out, and there have been some major blackouts recently, Spain, Portugal, London Underground. And again, when I was in Russia, Leningrad, I did see scale models of the UK, London and the UK, more pins in East Anglia than anywhere else. The 2 big red pins, Mildenhall and Lakenheath, US air bases, not far from here, Russian nuclear targets, so it's only taken very big here. In range of war, the unexpected, when you least expect it on a day just like today. Standing on the shores of Lake Victoria, I was watching a big electrical storm. Electrical storms in Africa are very impressive. Sheet lightning, bolts lightning crossing the sky, and again on the other side of Lake Victoria was Rwanda, genocide, and the slaughter was relentless. And the Lord said to me, Johnny, the storm is coming. The sword is out in Africa, the sword is out in the Middle East, the sword is out in the Far East, and the sword is out in Europe. And I know it was the Lord's voice in my spirit, because I could understand the sword being out in Africa, the Middle East, the Far East, but I was surprised when the Lord said the sword was out in Europe, because nothing was happening in Europe. And then not long after my return, the Balkans and Bosnia, Serbia, erupted into war. We had mass graves on our own front doorstep. plenty of war crimes and atrocities committed by both sides. And we had radar planes up over East Anglia, so they were flying bombing missions into Serbia from RAF Mildenhall and Lakenheath. Ever air bases in East Anglia. So again, one big firestorm coming in more ways than one: financial, natural, solar and war. So we do escape in time with UK Alive, 90 seconds to midnight. Time is running out.